All right, let's have a look at the limit constraint. So limit distance, location, rotation, and scale. So first of all, limit distance. So I've just shift selected my target and then the owner. So here we have our limit distance. It's set up our constraints here. We can limit from the head or the tail of the target, and we can actually manually decide the distance. When you add this constraint, it's going to use the its current position to figure out that distance. And if you want to reset it to say it's in a different location, so say you want it to be here, you can reset it, and that's now going to recalculate that. So that's what that one does there. Now here it says clamp region. You can decide whether you want it to be inside this distance, outside this distance, or exactly this distance. So I'll just show you the inside. So the inside means that we can go anywhere that is in 1 meter of our target here. Imagine a 1 meter sphere around our target, and it can't go outside of that bubble. Now, if we go outside, it can't go inside that 1 meter radius. And if we go on surface, it can only go exactly 1 meter on that surface. So it's always going to be 1 meter away from our target there. Now, if you're going to animate the owner bone, I would always suggest that you turn this one on if the animator is going to be animating it. But I'll show you how this works when we talk about the limit location. Now, with this one, we don't actually need to select a target because it's limiting it to its own location. So we can just hit our shortcut and choose limit location, and you'll see that there is no target because it's only working on itself. So here we can limit the X, the Y, and the Z. So we've got a minimum value, and we also have a maximum value. So where our other constraint was limiting the distance from a target, this one is limiting the location based on the space. So let's just choose its own local space. So it chooses its starting position, and I will just reset our locations back to 0. So what does this mean? I've set everything to 0 and 0, which means its minimum and its maximum is 0. So if I try and move this around, it's not going to go anywhere, but you'll notice that our values are actually changing up here. But let's just say that we don't want it to go below 0 on its local X, Y, or Z, but we don't want it to go past 1 as a maximum. So let's just change these ones to be 1. So now we can actually move it around. It's only going to go 1 as a maximum from its starting position, which was here. Although you'll see our values go past that, even though it doesn't actually move. That's what this effect transform button does. If we enable that, now if I'll just have to reset it because we've gone past there. Now if I try and drag it past, it's not going to take those values past 1. Now, as I said earlier, if you're going to use this as a control, this is a really handy thing for an animator to be able to see that the maximum is going to be 1, rather than dragging it off and you can see, oh, we don't know what that value is. So if you're going to be animating this, always enable that. Now, the limit rotation constraint is another one that doesn't actually need a target because it's only going to work relative to itself. So I'm just going to choose that one there. And you can see that we can actually limit the rotation on each of the axes. So limit X, limit Y, and limit Z. And we can also give it a minimum and a maximum. So we're working in world space. I'm going to change this to local space so it doesn't flip at the start. And at the moment, we've got a limit of 0 and 0, which means I can't rotate this anywhere. But let's just change this one to be -90. And then I'll copy this and paste it into the other minimums just for now. And I'm going to also paste it into the maximum, but I'm going to hover and hit the negative key, and that's going to flip the value. So I'm going to go copy and paste that one. And now we can't go past the positive or the -90 on that value there. And the effect transforms means that you can't go past that value here. It's going to stop, although you can continue to drag past it and also animate in the graph editor past it. So this setting here is very valuable for animators. And finally, our limit scale constraint works in a very similar way to our limit rotation and actually all the other ones. You can set a minimum and a maximum for each of the axes. So I'm just going to enable this and then our maximum. I've enabled it on all axes there, and you'll notice, oh, something crazy has happened. That is because it's scaled to 0, which is not something we want to do. So I'm going to limit this to 0.5, and let's limit the maximum to 2. And I'm going to enable this, and now you'll see if I scale, we can go down to 0.5 and we can't go past that. And we can go up to the maximum value of 2. Although I should point out, if we go in the negative direction, if you keep going, you will flip. And that is one of the known issues with this constraint. The developers know about it. So until it's fixed, just make sure that you don't keep scaling past the point where you want it to.